Sorry, let me go ahead and get the screen up. Sorry. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Edmo Show. Well, not the Edmo Show. Sorry. It's today is the struggle. I would like to thank you all for reporting in live. If you guys would like to watch this, we are showing live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Um, and yeah, we are going to be I'm on the if you guys want to watch this or call in, let me because my headphones just died. Because stupid me forgot to plug them in and charge over the past week. And as soon as the show got started, it crapped out. I need to get better with show management. I'm terrible. Um, let's see. Let me go ahead and see if we can go ahead and change how this audio is because I cannot hear diddly squat. Let's try this. All right. So yes, we are reporting live. We are recording live on the Edmo Show listener page. We are recording live on my personal Facebook account, and we are on YouTube live right now. I'm going to go ahead and drop this link below. Just go ahead and knock that out. Do it twice on the Facebook. Boom. All right, there you go. So yes, today's episode we're doing Exodus 35 and 36. It feels so weird doing this without headphones. So 35 and 36, we're using the Messianic Family Jewish Bible. You guys can use whatever Bible you want to use, whether it's NIV, KJV, whatever type of add three acronyms here. You guys can do whatever you want. My only rule is pick a Bible that you're going to read. Pick a Bible that you enjoy reading. I have several Bibles around the house. I have Dewey Rames. I have KJV. I have the TLV. I have the Hallelujah Scriptures, which is by far my favorite one. And I also have a JPS Torah downstairs. Which is what Dennis Prager uses, who is also our extra biblical study mentor. Boom. We are going to be using this book, Dennis Prager's Exodus, God, Slavery, and Freedom, to help us kind of decrypt some of the questions that we may have throughout this study. I really like his books. This is his Passover book. I have his other books throughout the house. I'm waiting for his I think what is this his Leviticus book, I believe, to come out. Let me double check this. And I apologize for being late and unorganized, people. It's been a long week. Yes, so I am waiting on him to drop because I pre-ordered his it's Deuteronomy. So he has Deuteronomy coming out. So I think he only put out Genesis and Exodus. Exodus was first, and then I think he put out Genesis, and now he has Deuteronomy. And then of course we're waiting on him to put out Leviticus, which we'll probably not be using his Leviticus book for our next Bible study because you know what? We only have just let me see. In Exodus, there are 40 chapters. So we only got 4 more chapters to go before we're done. But couple things I want to get into. As a matter of fact, I'll just save it. I'll save it for the end. So let's go ahead and knock this Mickey Blicky out. Exodus 35-36 using the TLV version. Let's get into our first. I don't understand why it's like that. So pretty much it says Exodus 35-36 up at the top. He assembled or assembling the tabernacle. So let's go ahead and just read this. I apologize for those of you that are on my personal Facebook page if you guys cannot see the scriptures, but you guys can also go to the YouTube page if you guys want to see it. So 35. Then Moses assembled the congregations of Bnei Israel and said to them, "These are the words of Adonai. These are the words which Adonai has commanded you to do. Work is to be done for 6 days, but on the 7th day is a holy day for you, a Shabbat, a complete rest to Adonai. Whoever does any work, then will die. Do not kindle a fire of in any of your dwellings or on Yom Shabbat. Moses also said to all the congregation of Bnei Israel, this is the word which Adonai commanded, saying, take from among you an offering for Adonai. Whoever has a willing heart, let him bring Adonai's offering, gold, silver, and bronze, blue, purple, scarlet cloth, fine linen, and goat hair, ram skin dyed red, seal skin, and acacia wood, oil for the light, spices for the anointing oil, and for sweet incense, onyx stones, and setting stones for ephod and for the breastplate. Now they're making everything, and then we're gonna, yeah. So these next couple chapters are just gonna be about the construction of everything. Let every hearted man among you come and make everything that Adonai has commanded, including the tabernacle, its tents and its coverings, its clasps, and its boards, and its crossboards, and its pillars, its bases, the ark and the poles, the anointment cover, and the curtain screen, the table and its poles, with all its utensils, along with the bread of presence, along with the menorah for light, which with its utensils, its lamps. Sorry, my dyslexia is kicking in. Its lamps and its oils for light, the altar of incense and its poles, its poles, the anointing oils, the sweet incense, and the screen for the entrance of the tabernacle, the altar of burnt offerings with its gathering of bronze, its poles and all its utensils, the basins and its stands, the hangings, uh, the hangings of the courtyard, the pillars and their bases, the curtains for the gates of the courtyard, the pegs of the tabernacle and of the courtyard, along with their cords, the woven garments for ministering in the holy place, the holy garments for Aaron, the Cohen, and for his sons to minister as Kohanim. Then all the congregation of Bnei Israel departed from before Moses, everyone whose heart stirred him, and everyone whose spirit was willing came and brought Adonai's offering for the work of the tent of meeting and for its service, as well as the holy garment. So they came, both men and women, everyone whose heart compelled him, and brought nose rings, earrings, signet rings, bracelets, and all kinds of gold jewelry. Everyone who brought a wave offering of gold to Adonai. Everyone who had blue, purple, scarlet, fine linen, goat hair, ram skins, dyed red, or seal skins brought them. Everyone who could make a contribution of silver or bronze brought Adonai's offering. Every man who had acacia wood or of any use for service brought it. Also the women who were wise-hearted spun their hands, um, and brought what they have woven: blue, purple, scarlet, and fine linen. All the women whose hearts stirred them up with wisdom spun the goat hair. Also the leaders who brought onyx stones and setting stones of the ephod and for the breastplate, along with the spices, the oil for the light, and for anointing, and for the sweet incense. Every man and woman whose heart made them willing gave toward all the work that Adonai had commanded to be done by Moses' hand. So Bnei Israel brought it as a free will offering to Adonai. Then Moses said to Bnei Israel, see, Adonai called by name Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. He has filled him with a ruach, which is spirit, of God, with wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, all in manner of craftsmanship, to take ingenious designs, to work in gold, silver, and bronze, as well as cutting gemstones for setting wood carvings, to make all kinds of skillful craftsmanship. He has also placed in the hearts the ability to teach. Both he and Aholiab, son of Ashmach, of the tribe of Dan. He has filled them with wisdom of heart and forged all the works of an engraver and artisan and an embroiderer in blue, purple, scarlet, and fine linen, as well as weaving. They can perform every craft and ingenious designs. That's 35. Told you, like these these passages go pretty quick. So let's go ahead and let me see what I got from Dennis on 35. Okay, so his first essay here is on verse 2. On 6 days work can be done, but on the seventh day you shall have a Shabbat, complete rest and holy to the Lord. The reminder of Exodus is concerned with building the tabernacle. First, however, the law of the Sabbath is reiterated to provide the Israelites with an important stipulation. Even though the building of the sanctuary is the holiest work they will engage in, they are not allowed to do it on a Sabbath. In the Torah and later Judaism, time is time is holier than place, and thus the observance of the holiest day of the week takes precedence over building of the holiest place. Mishnah Shabbat 7:2. I guess that's a list 39 types of labor done at the tabernacle, all of which are forbidden on the Sabbath. I guess that's a Jewish book. Let's see. The Torah prescribes a such severe punishment for violating the Sabbath, emphasizes the severity of the infraction. The Sabbath affirms God created the world, the foundational belief in the ethical monotheism in the new Israelite nation, and the new and better world that should emanate from them. Without the Sabbath, there will ultimately be no Jewish religion, no Jewish people. Hence, the aphorism of the Jewish philosopher Ahad Ha'am, more than Israel has kept the Sabbath has kept the Jews. Such an observation has not been made about any other ritual law in the Torah, including Kashrut or Yom Kippur. In the Ten Commandments, Commandment 2, the commandment and Commandment 4 through 9 carry the death penalty. No Jewish ritual other than the Sabbath is in the Ten Commandments, in part because there is no other Jewish ritual for which violators are given the death penalty. Though it is important to add, we have only one instance for this ever being carried out. See the next paragraph. Such is a unique importance of the Sabbath. Nevertheless, as noted elsewhere, in every case but murder, overwhelming preponderance of evidence suggests the death penalty was on the book to teach the severity of the offense rather than as an actual punishment to be enacted. So, and then this is the one because some people talk about, and some people ask, well, why can't you do any work? You can't even light a fire and all this other stuff. So Dennis actually writes an essay about this. There is a little specific legislation in the Torah concerning the Sabbath. The most significant prohibition alongside this one are bans against plowing and harvesting. See Exodus 34, verse 21, and an unclear defined prohibition against leaving one's place on the Sabbath, which later Jewish law understood as prohibition against going outside one's city limits. See Exodus 16, verse 29. Today, a small percentage of the population engages in agricultural work. The prohibition against kindling fire remains the most relevant Sabbath prohibition in the Torah. The question then is why? Why is making a fire singled out as forbidden? The key is to understand why this is, whereas the action the Torah prohibits on the Shabbat and are also prohibited on the festival Passover, Shavuot, and Sukkot. One exception is making fire. The Torah prohibits making fire only on Shabbat. Jerusalem Talmud, citing this verse, states, "On the Sabbath day, may no light, but you may light on the festival. Observant Jews, however, do not light a fire on a festival, though they permit transferring flame from a pre-existing flame, something prohibited on Shabbat." And why does the Torah ban making fire on Shabbat, but no other holy day, except Yom Kippur, which considered the Shabbat of Shabbats, and has all law pertaining to the Sabbath? The answer must lie in the meaning of the Sabbath, to affirm that God is the creator by not working or creating on the day God ceased working and creating. Aside from making new life, conceiving a child, which I will address, making a fire is the ultimate symbolic act of human creation. Animals too make new life, but they do not make fire. All as only God creates ex nihilo, out of nothing. The kindling of fire is the closest humans come to creating. By kindling fire, humans are engaging in the act uniquely close to creating, whereas the purpose of the Sabbath is to refrain from such acts in order to affirm the one creator is God. Not only does fire seem to come from nothing, it also has the unique power to transform something it touches. Everett Fox alludes to this, since the Sabbath was apparently to be static in nature, or at least transformative time alone. Fire, which is nature's causes chemical change, which by its nature causes chemical change, could not be employed. The Sabbath is the only time to enjoy the world as it is. The uniquely transformative entity fire thus becomes an archetypical Sabbath prohibition. So then, why doesn't the Torah prohibit making a child? Only other acts that create something from nothing, for four possible reasons. First, as noted, animals also make new life, therefore, making new life is not uniquely human. Second, unlike fire, a new human life does not physically transform everything it touches. Third, as noted, Jewish law understands the Sabbath prohibition on work, all applying to the 39 types of work carried out in building of the tabernacle. Sexual relations were, of course, not one of those 39 types of work. Fourth, the most important, the Torah affirms life. Therefore, just as every Torah prohibition may indeed must be violated to save a human life, the prohibition, the prohibition on creating on Sabbath is suspended in order to make new human life. The Torah adds a qualification throughout your settlements, because the kindling of fire was allowed in the tabernacle and later in the temple for the special Sabbath sacrifices. The Talmud Shabbat 20a, the tabernacle and temple were not regarded as settlements. One might further ask, if fire is an act of creation, why did the Torah allow it in the temple? Because the purpose of the sacrificial fire in the temple was to affirm the creator, whereas uh, all other fire throughout your settlements had other purposes. Woo! So, yeah. So that's 35, where they're talking about fire, which some people will say, like, it's still weird, like you can't create fire, but remember, this is supposed to be a day of rest. And also, you're supposed to have everything you need. God provided everything he needed up, and a double portion to carry you through the Shabbat. So really, the Sabbath is supposed to be your time of peace, rest, and togetherness with your family and with the Father. So, and that's something that I'm still trying to work on to this day. Woo. All right. 36. So Beziel and Oliab are to work. along with their wise-hearted man in whom Adonai has placed insight and understanding to know how to perform all the labors for the service of the sanctuary, according to everything Adonai has commanded. Then Moses called Bezalel and Aholiab and all the wise-hearted men in whose mind Adonai had set wisdom, along with everyone whose heart stirred him up to come and do work. They received from Moses the entire offering of Bnei Israel had brought for the work of the service of the sanctuary to build it. They brought free will offerings to him morning after morning. Then all skilled men who were doing all the work of the sanctuary came one by one from the work he was doing and said to Moses, the people are bringing more than enough for the work of this construction that Adonai has commanded to be done. So Moses gave an order, and they proclaimed it throughout the camp, saying, let neither man nor woman make anything else as an offering for the sanctuary. So the people were restrained from bringing more. For the work material they had was sufficient for all the work, which with much left over. So all the wise-hearted men among them did the work. They made the tabernacle, the 10 curtains, the finely twisted linens, along with the blue, purple, scarlet, with cherubim, the work of a skillful craftsman. The length of each curtain was 28 cubits in width, of each curtain as 4 cubits. All curtains had one measure. Then he coupled 5 curtains to one another, and the other 5 curtains he also coupled together. He made blue loops on the edge of the curtains that was outermost within the first set. He did the same along the edge of the curtains that was outermost on the second set. He made 50 loops. He made 50 loops in one curtain and 50 loops on the edge of the curtain that was on the second set. So the loops were opposite of one another. Also he made 50 clasps of gold and coupled the curtains one to another with the clasp, so the tabernacle was one. Then he made curtains made from goat's hair for the tent over the tabernacle. He made 11 curtains. The length of each curtain was 30 cubits, and the width of each was 4 cubits. The 11 curtains had one measure. He coupled 5 curtains by themselves and 6 other curtains by themselves. He made 50 loops on the edge of the curtains and was and that 50 sorry he made 50 loops on the edge of the curtain that was outermost on the first set and 50 loops on the edge of the curtains that was outermost on the second set. He also made 50 bronze clasps to couple the tent together so that it would be one. Then he made a covering for the tent of ram skin dyed red, along with the covering of sealskin above. He also made the framework of boards for the tabernacle from acacia wood, standing upright. The length of the boards was 10 cubits. The width of a cubit was half. Each board was 2 supports, joined one to another. He did this all for the boards of the tabernacle. So he built the boards for the tabernacle, 20 boards for from the south side southward, and he made 40 silver bases under the 20 boards, 2 bases under one board and for its 2 supports, 2 bases under another board for its 2 supports. This is a lot. I'm just gonna say this. Me just reading it, it's just a lot. My brain is just ugh. So let me see. Also, for the second side of the tabernacle on the north side, he made 20 boards along with their 40 silver bases, 2 under one board and 2 under the next. For the back part of the tabernacle westward, he made 6 boards. He also made 2 boards for the corners of the tabernacle in the back, so that they could be doubled underneath. And the same and in the same way to be fixed to the top at the first ring. He did this for both of them at the two corners. So there were 8 boards along with their silver bases, 16 in all, 2 under each board. Then he made crossbars crossbars from acacia wood, 5 for the boards and on one side of the tabernacle, 5 for the boards on the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 crossboards for the board of the tabernacle on the back part westward. He built the middle crossbars to pass through in the center of the boards from one end to the other. He overlaid the boards with gold and made golden rings for them as holders for the crossbars and overlaid the crossbars with gold. I'm gonna save this to the end. My thoughts. So then he made a curtains of blue, purple, scarlet, and finely twisted linen, along with with the cherubim and the work of a skillful craftsman. He made 4 pillars of acacia and overlaid them with gold, having gold hooks, and he cast 4 silver bases for them. Then he made a parakek for the entrance of the tent. I have no idea what that is. Let me parakek. Let me see. Matter of fact, let me just look it up on my phone. Let's see what a parakek is. It's a rug. Oh, it's a screen. It's a parakek, meaning curtain or screen, is a curtain that covers the Torah ark containing the Torah scrolls in the synagogue. Okay. So crap. Let me. Yeah, so it's just a screen. All right. For the entrance of the tent of blue, purple, scarlet, and finely twisted linen, the work of the work of a color weaver. Also, he made 5 pillars with their hooks overlaid their capitals and bands with gold, along with their 5 bronze bases. And that's it. So, so I said I was going to wait till the end because, again, I have dyslexia, so oftentimes reading this is a struggle for me because sometimes my eyes want to jump ahead where my mouth and my brain are a little slow, or and my brain is trying to process all this information. And a lot of times, and also I have an artistic background, not autistic, artistic. I have an artistic background. So a lot of times when I'm reading these measurements, colors, materials, my brain is trying to process the image in my mind. So I would like anybody, as you guys know, we're trying to grow this ministry. We're trying to grow the podcast to YouTube outside of just being podcast and YouTube. We're trying to start our own um struggle ministry. I would like for someone, anyone who's I would like a team of craftsmen for us to recreate the tabernacle, to recreate everything but the incense, because the Bible is very clear you're not supposed to make the incense. So I would like for just a bunch of skilled craftsmen. Hit me up, find me. We see if there's a way that we can work together to recreate this thing. Because my mind is just like, okay, you got this over here, that over there, this, and that's why I had a hard time reading it. On top of the fact that I'm already dyslexic, so I already struggle reading, so and talking at the same time. But yeah, so there's not really much to get into with these final chapters. A lot of them is just measurements, you know. A lot of them is just materials, measurements, and all this other stuff. But there was something on my mind and something on my heart that I wanted to talk about. Kind of off topic. I was really pondering it today. The last couple months, especially the last couple weeks, have been very hard for me. Um, it's been very hard to try to balance a lot of the stuff that I got going on. The missus try to tells me I'm doing too much, but I definitely feel that there is a shift coming. And I definitely feel like that there is something coming. I'm not trying to sound prophetic or nothing like that, but there's definitely a spiritual war going on right now. If you whether you want to acknowledge it or not, um, I feel like a lot of things in this world are gonna we're about to hit the apex of some sort of change. I don't want to say apocalypse, but I'm just saying that something is going to happen to where there's going to be a change coming. And I'm not just talking about just me, but I definitely feel a change in myself. And I had a weird dream um last night, this morning, and especially last night I had a hard time sleeping. And the one thing, and of course, I study ahead. I'm not when we're doing these Bible studies, I'm doing them well, not chronologically, but in order for the show. But outside the show, I do my other readings and stuff like that. So right now, I'm in Joshua, just studying like the battles and stuff like that. And a lot of times I jump back and forth. But last night, like the past couple weeks, have just been very difficult. Just a lot of change has been happening with my schedule. That's why you guys haven't really been seeing a lot of me. You guys haven't been seeing a lot of the show because there's just a lot of change happening, to the point where the hours of the show will end up getting changed. Probably how much I'm posting will probably get changed. You know, it's just a lot. But I had this weird dream and it kind of scared me to the point where like I woke up. Like I woke up panicked, but also sweating, but also relieved at the fact that I woke up. Demonic forces are real. And now I don't practice any sort of divination or black magic or nothing like that. But demons are real. And honestly, I didn't realize how ensnared I was until I started this journey. Demonically, spiritually, like I just didn't realize how bad off I was. And sometimes, and I'm not sometimes, like, I still have my days where I struggle. I still have my days when I backslide. I still have my days when I question myself. I have days when I question my relationship with God. I have days when I question the Bible. And the biggest thing that I try to do is I try to have a routine so that way I can work through it. But last night's dream, and oftentimes I don't remember my dreams. So when I do, there's something that I need to pay attention to. But last night, um, I had a dream that I was at, and it could have been the fact that it was something on TV that probably influenced this dream, but it felt weird. And it's one of those dreams where you realize that you're talking in your sleep. And in this dream, for whatever reason, I was in a ghost town. And it was the town just seemed very off. It was very desolate, it was dusty, it was very desertous. Because I fell asleep watching something about the lost cities of the Bible. So, and I can tell that there was ruins, inside. And I'm just walking. I'm all by myself. I'm just walking through this desolate, ancient city that's just covered in dust and it's desertous. And then for whatever reason, I have like this staff in my hand. And this for whatever reason, like the staff it was talking to me. And the staff was like telling me to keep going, keep the faith. And then I saw this church, and it had a cross on it. And then I remember just, looking at the church, and it was definitely in ruins. It was all busted up, and it was, it looked like something out of like the Book of Eli. Like it looked like something from the Denzel Washington Book of Eli movie. So the church was like sitting up on this hill. And I go inside the courtyard and I go inside the church. The roof is all busted out, but I can see the moon coming through the roof. And then I see like it was like this pile of bones and just broken vases and like just it looked deteriorated. And then I looked at the staff and then it just says they're coming. And I'm just like, who's coming? And he said, look outside. And it's weird that I can remember the details of this dream. And I'm looking out this window, which ironically was in the shape of a cross. And I see like these ghostly figures, like literally, it was weird. It was a little bit comedic. I see these groups of people coming out with sheets on, and I laugh, and then they look at me, and then for whatever reason, the staff says, "I bind you in the name of the Lord." And then one of the sheets drop. And then the sheets come off, and it's just these decrepit looking people running towards the church. And then I'm just saying, I bind you in the name of the Father. I bind you. And I'm going through, I'm saying I sanctify this building, and they are busting through. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna fight. And I'm just repeating what the staff is saying, and the staff just goes silent. And then now I'm fighting for my life. Like I feel like I'm fighting for my life in this. So I remember, so a couple of figures come up, and they're very mangy, demonic, like they look like demented, like they look like just real skinny and just evil looking creatures. I mean, they look human, but they look, there wasn't no hooves or horns or nothing like that. They looked human, but they looked like something off of World War Z. Like they were just charging at me. And I'm hitting them with the staff and I'm saying, I bind you, and it's like they're still coming. And but the weirdest thing that I noticed, and it's weird, like you ever notice in dreams where you feel like you can't fight, like when you punch, but you feel like your punch doesn't have any power. This dream was opposite because it felt like the less force I was giving, the more damage I was doing. So, and I remember like this one feminine looking demon thing came and jumped lunged at me, and I took the bottom of the staff and I softly boop tapped her in the forehead and she dropped. And then I just remember waking up just saying I bind you, and then I jumped out of bed. My dogs were looking at me like, "What?" But it's just, and the reason why I'm talking about this, because normally I don't talk about this kind of stuff, you know, demons are real. And honestly, since doing this journey, I've definitely felt that some of the demons that I've picked up throughout my life, some of my experiences, some of the things I was into before this, I feel like they're fighting so hard to hold on to me. And a lot of them are falling away, but I still feel like some of them are fighting to hold on. And it's gotten so bad to the point where I've lost all interest in some of the things I used to have interest in. I've lost pleasure in some of the things that and not to sound like I'm going through depression, because I know those are signs of depression, but these are like the negative things. You know, people that I used to associate with, I no longer have no interest in associating with them. But it's like I also have to be careful because it's not just me, it's also my wife. And her and I, we've been going through our own struggles, our own things lately, but we're good. Trust me, we're solid. But now I have to, now that things are becoming apparent to me, now in just my waking moments, I can see actual demons moving within people. And no, they're not, they don't look like these monstrous looking things. It's really just like a darkness moving amongst these people. And oftentimes, I'll see it in some people that I associate with. I'll see, I see it in sometimes when I interact with things that I know I shouldn't, but then I second guess, like, oh, maybe it's okay. And a lot of people will say, because I've even struggled with some of the laws of the Bible. The biggest one was like eating pork, and people will try to say, which sounds so minuscule, like in Genesis, in Exodus 25, where they talk about fire. God has already called pork and certain things abominations, and you're not supposed to eat them. And it's weird because and it's like I fought it so hard, and you don't understand how deeply ensnared you are until you ask for help, until you try to seek help and seek deliverance and seek forgiveness and seek redemption. And now it's like the silliest things that may sound some things that may sound silly to some people now become big things. Oh, what's wrong with eating pork, man? Eat pork, eat pork. But if my father's sitting here telling me don't eat pork, it's an abomination to me. And since I stopped eating pork, now just the sight of it, the smell of it completely just turns my stomach. And to the point, I was so hungry the other day that I had like a sausage sandwich. I felt sick throughout the day. Not, I just felt sick. And it goes to show that even some of the smallest things, like don't build a fire on the Sabbath, just listen to what it says, because it's saying it for a reason. You may not understand it now, but just follow what the father is saying. Don't build a fire, don't do this, don't do that, and see how things change. Because it's weird, because now that I'm trying to live according to what the father says, I'm seeing that there's pork everywhere. But beyond pork, I think the reason why I'm talking about pork is seeing pork everywhere, because pork is literally in everything. I'm seeing demonic things everywhere. I'm seeing it in everything. Even some of the most innocent understanding things, there's some sort of nefarious spirit or some sort of nefarious demonic thing attached to it. Now you can probably call me a kook and all this other stuff and just say that I'm crazy. It's fine. But it's just weird how now that I'm trying to obey, I'm starting to see more. I'm starting to understand more. I'm starting to hunger for more. I'm starting to, just starting to see that this world behind this veil that we see here. And now it's like, don't get me wrong. I like politics. Some of the things like politics, I don't really care about anymore. It things like just other things. Yeah, I'll talk about some popular events, but a lot of times these popular events are just so demonic in nature, because they want to ensnare you to keep you behind this veil, so that way you'll keep doing it. It's like they want to flood you with all this information. They want to flood you with all this content. They want to flood you with all this stuff, because it works in their favor. It works for them. It benefits them, whoever them is. So it's just I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I trust me, I understand, and that's why I invited you all to have this journey with me, because the journey is not easy. It's it's not going anywhere, and I understand how hard it can be. I understand, that there's a lot of influences that may seem positive but are really negative. I still hold firm with my standards and my beliefs about the church, because I just don't see any good coming out of the church. The church makes way too many excuses for people to sin. The church makes way too many excuses, and I'm not saying that's every church, but most churches, most of your average Sunday churches that you'll go into, because the first things first, they don't honor the Sabbath. We can get into debates, but it's like, why? Like, you can debate all you want, but the facts are the facts. The rules are the rules. If the Bible's telling you don't do something and you don't understand it, it's probably best to research and seek understanding first. Ask for help, because a lot of times people don't want to get into the Bible. They don't, because of church, because of people, and I was like that. I don't want to read the Bible because everybody who I know that goes to church, because they associate the church with the Bible. Everyone who I know that goes to church, they're flawed. They're sinners. Okay. Yeah. They are. These people are flawed. They're sinners. They're wicked. Like, so are you. You have your wicked ways about you. You have your sinful ways about you. You have your backwards ways about you. How are you any different? How are you any better? You're not even trying. You don't want to understand. You know. So it's just, and I'm just bringing that up because a lot of people have demons that they're not aware of. They have spirits that they're not aware of. They have attachments that they don't understand. That, and it's just interesting to me that things that happen in people's lives, oftentimes they're not always on accident. You can't move on from your past because you're still holding on to your past. It may not play in your mind every day, but you probably have something around your house from your past. You probably have that gift that person has given you. You don't know if that person has cursed you, and now because they cursed you, that thing that you have of that they given you is now uh an an object that is bringing negativity and evil and darkness into your life and into your home. If you can't let go of your past, you can't let go of that relationship because you haven't cleansed yourself of that relationship. You haven't sanctified yourself from that relationship. And I'm going to do a video about relationships again, because there's a lot of people who have these relationships. And I'm just going to say this because I heard this from Dr. Vodi Bakum, so this doesn't come from me, but I'm going to add my own opinions. We're living in a backwards age, and people think that because it's 2022 that this is progression, because out with the old, in with the new. But sometimes the new is not good. The way people date nowadays is very backward. We get into these pseudo marriages and then we get divorced. I would say we get into spiritual marriages, and then we think that we're getting spiritual divorces at the end. When you're sitting there dating and you become boyfriend and girlfriend, you're trying to make a covenant with that other person. All right, I'm dating you, you're dating me, we're not dating anyone else, we're having sex, we're moving in. You're inviting those spirits into into your relationship. Then when you split up, okay, now you're going through a spiritual divorce. Like I said, I'm gonna do an episode on that real soon, because I think that, especially now that cuffing season is around the corner, it's gonna start getting cold. People are gonna try to start bunning up. But yeah, just be careful of some of the things that you invite, some of the things that you accept, some of the things that you entertain. You know, you need to ask the Father for, like in the chapters that we just read, he was giving people gifts of skillful craftsmanship and ingenious design. Maybe you need to ask the Father for some skillful craftsmanship in your life, some ingenious design to redesign yourself, to redesign your life, and be the skillful craftsman to craft everything that you need to the point where you have enough. I'm not talking about Louis, Gucci, Nike, all that other stuff. I'm talking things that actually matter. So take some of those things that you have accepted in your past, like we see in Exodus, all the gold jewelry, the nose rings, the bracelets, the necklaces, the purses, the clothes, all bring it to God and let it be used for the tabernacle. That's a good way that I brought that around. Bring those things to the Father. Bring those things to the skilled craftsman with the ingenious design to be repurposed for the building of this mobile sanctuary. Do away with it. Don't have any personal attachment to these things. Let these, whether that means you pawn it off, whether that means you do something with it. You need to get rid of these things in your life. Let's start with the physical, then we're going to work on the spiritual. Get rid of the physical things that you have. If you have a relationship, or if you have a I'm gonna stop calling them relationship, because you're the only relationships that you should have are friendships, families, and marriages and business. That's it. If it's not a business relationship, a family relationship, a friendship, or a marriage, everything else is a situationship. So if you had a situationship where you're getting purses, you're getting clothes, you're getting jewelry, you're getting this, you're getting that, and it's no longer, get rid of it. Get rid of it, because that thing could be the one thing that's bringing darkness and dark darkness and spirits and negative things into your house. Get rid of it. Say, here, I don't need it anymore. Pawn it off, whatever. Get rid of it. Get it out of your house. Get it out of your life. Get it off your spirit. That's the first thing. Get rid of the physical reminders that you have of those people. you know then let's work on the spiritual. Let's work on getting rid of the spiritual attachments to those people, because you had sex with them, so now you got a soul tie with them. Let's work on that next. But first, you got to start asking for help and seeking guidance. And that's one of the things that I do. And one of my mentors, you can grab his mug right here. Boom, that's a nice sales pitch, but trust me, I'm not getting paid for this. Go to my friend Alfonso Rachel's Zopium Den. Trust me, he is a lot wiser than I am when it comes to this biblical stuff. You guys can go over to his website, Bronze Serpent Media, get him a mug, get a t-shirt, check out some of his music, check out some of his books. Solid Right Cross, a weapon of ASS destruction. I think he has one called I forgot the third one. But if you guys want a mug like this, please check him out. Trust me, he's my friend, my mentor. He's been on the show before. Buy his stuff. Tell him that Emo sent you. I don't get any money from this. I don't get any kickbacks, but you need to get around people that are going to push you, motivate you, and challenge you in the eyes of the Lord. And that's really all I got. So until next time, I will see you guys hopefully next week. Because hopefully my schedule is going to start regulating. Yeah, it's been a lot of up and downs lately. So I apologize for not being so available. But until then, I will see you guys next time. And I am out. Peace.